All right, all right. What's going on, everybody? This is Al Williams, and this is the Willpower Podcast, where we talking about stories of people that don't give up, and because they don't give up, they actually end up helping people out around them. Today, we are interviewing Stacy, and I call her Angel Stacy. Stacy Angel. That's where they call you that. Where they call you that at? They call you that
Seven
in Norfolk.
757.
The whole
The whole
757. I
757.
love that. I love that. Yes, yes. So tell me a little bit of something about yourself, please.
Well, age 55, I started helping our people as a child, and I didn't know the significance of that, but my mom, she was a teacher, and she just kept telling me I need to start my own organization. And as a child, I didn't know what that was. But I kept bringing her. First it was animals, and then it was people. And so then as I got older and I left her, I got married and I ended up bringing a spouse, an individual, while he was out to sea that was in need of somewhere to stay. And then from that point on, I just kept everywhere that I've stayed. Friends got one. People that I stayed with that really didn't even know me, they allowed for me to bring somebody that was less fortunate into their homes. And along the way, they started telling me when I was in my apartment, I had the whole shelter. And they were saying, nobody does this. And they say, except for if it's family or something like that, but as far as people that you really just got to know or don't even know, mostly the people in which I've helped was just straight from off the streets. And basically, people just kept telling me I need to start my own organization. So I started studying up on the microfiche at the library. And I had nothing but time at that time. I was homeless at the time, and I would go every day and study on the Articles of Incorporation, 501c3. Didn't know what any of that was at that time. And so I got to know basically the logistics of organization. And so I've been basically in the process of trying to get that up and running, trying to connect with the
Yeah,
organization that was recommended for me to. But over the years, I've only had two possible entities here lately that offer, for me to go underneath their organization. One hasn't started his organization as of yet, but I'm still looking for other organizations to basically team up with. I'm very concerned about our people being outside. Basically, some of them don't make it. I have known four to this date that did not make it. They passed away, and
sorry
they
to
were
hear
in a
that.
homeless state. One was killed year before last. It was a young lady, and she was killed at Martin Luther King's memorial in Norfolk, downtown Norfolk. Yeah,
Wow,
I found her. I told
wow.
her to come with me, and she followed me down to the beach because she didn't believe that I every day I went. She just kept trying to get me to hang around Norfolk with her, and I told her, I said, "There's nothing in Norfolk but trouble." And she said, "Yeah, that's right." And she didn't continue to follow me. He found her, and he killed her. He shot her twice, and she passed away. And the guy that was with her passed away
Wow.
about a month later. He was in intensive care. So
That is
yeah, the
crazy.
dilemma.
So you've been so basically it sounds like you have taken a negative situation and turned it into a positive situation through all your journeys and travels and peoples you've met and tried to give back to the community in your own way. That's
Thank
beautiful. That's
you.
amazing. That's rare. You know what I mean?
Well, I love her.
Today, I actually wanted to talk about. I know we were speaking on the phone earlier about some things that you were doing, and I don't know if we have enough time for all of it, but I do know that it's very important what you are doing, and I want to start off with the main thing that you're doing right now, that you're the most invested in, that the people need to know about, and you would like for the people to know
Yes,
about.
I just started a GoFundMe on my page, which is Stacy Story on YouTube, and you'll find it on YouTube. Basically, I'm in a housing situation right now, and the stays are only 30 to 60, and sometimes it's longer if you're able to pay the owner of the house. It's sort of like transitional
Right.
housing. But because of the state, they won't pay for year-long stays. They won't pay, even if you're a cancer patient, whatever the situation is, They may give you extensions, but the individuals coming straight from out the hospitals are mostly impacted, whether they have income or not, because they're just coming from out the
Right.
hospitals. They can't run around and do stuff. They do have individuals that come in and assist the individuals to get to the point where they can get more lodging and the things in which they need. But some I have seen zero. Not one person came through. My friend, she just lost her foot month before last, and she's in
Oh,
rehab. It's
I'm sorry to hear
okay.
that.
She's in rehab right now, but it was the cubulus also on the side of her foot. There was a you could put your fist in, and it was so bad that they had to
Oh
amputate.
yeah.
And I seen her go through the process. She went back to the guy that put her in intensive care, because she had nowhere. She was living in a car with
Mhm.
him. The next thing I know, she calls me from Williamsburg in the hospital. And it's a debilitating, she could have
Mhm.
lost her life, not just her foot, but it's a war that we're fighting out here. And so basically, I was more fortunate because I know a lot of people and they always give me information because they know I help people. So I have been in the whole 757, living different places, in and out the hospital. I'm in the process of having surgery. And then basically I've been working on my own house for about a year now. I have a realtor that is going to help me with first home buyers situation where I just have to have one or two pay stubs now. And I'll be able to get into my three
Mhm.
bedroom, three bath, and I'll be stabilized to start my headquarters there. And then I can, take it from there,
Right.
helping our people more efficiently. But at any point, my business license
Mhm.
is in Virginia Beach, and I'm currently in
Okay.
Portsmouth because of my circumstance. But I already talked to another
Uh-huh.
agent, which is not that agent, but it's another agent. He's going to pick me up possibly tomorrow to see a two bedroom, two bath I can possibly lease to own. My mindset is basically
Right.
when you get a place, instead of just paying whatever you're paying out there, and they want you to pay almost $2,000, you can own something. And our people, they're just like, wow, the first thing that comes up. And I'm like, no, you wait a little while because the money that you're putting down, you're throwing away when you can own the property. So, yeah, I'm teaming
Mhm.
up with the real estate agents, and I'm trying to help the young lady that's here. She has stage 4 cancer. And I just put that on, yes,
Oh
on my
wow.
YouTube page. And I'm asking for 1,000.
And what's
It's
your YouTube
Stacy's
page?
story.
Stacy's story, and that's Stacy, and that's with a S, and then another,
Yeah.
and then story, or is it all one word?
Stacystory, first and last name. Yeah, and
Okay.
so she
Got you.
gave me permission to put her picture, on the page. And I ran into so many cancer patients. They're struggling, and they only have 30-day stay. Some of them have 5-day stay. You cannot get yourself together like that. And some of them have lost everything, the credentials and everything. Was living out in the woods. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? A lot of them. And they come from a destitute situation into a better situation, and then wind up right back in the same situation because of lack of help. They're the ones that do help. I've ran across a couple of them. They just come in, say hello, and leave out. They, they come in after hours,
Right.
and they do not come in the daytime when you need to go to the store, blah, blah, this and that. No, they wait till they finish with their patients and come say hello, and they're making a paycheck off of that. So it's a lot of individuals
Right.
that do care that I ran into, and that's good. But some of the ones that's in the most critical
Right.
situation ends up with no one to advocate for them in the process of having nowhere to stay after 30 days. So yeah, that's why
Yeah,
I'm in the
that's
process of
terrible.
raising
That's terrible.
money. And I set the goal as 100K because I'm working on trying to do a tiny house
Hmm.
settlement. I have a investor that may invest into the tiny house settlement. Instead of spending 2 or 300,000, he will only have to spend 100K if we were to get that development, the land for it, and to pay for about 10 brand new homes, modular homes they can just drop and have the contractor fit it out. It
Right.
costs maybe half of, not even half of what he would be spending for a condominium complex, because he's going to be spending about $1 million for that. But it's just a little crumb. for the house 10 people, vets, and the seniors that in the disabled that coming from out of hospitals, and they do have a source of income. The young lady that's here right now has a source of
Hmm.
income. She has no food stamps. She lost everything. When you lose everything, you don't have credentials to get anything from social services. That's what's happening also. I have been doing feedings in
That's
every
true.
spot. I go to the churches, bring back food, cook it for them, and I bring stuff that's already cooked. In these places where I've been, they won't allow you to store food some places. So when it comes down to it, basically it's a catch 22 with some people. Some people come in, they get themselves straight, and they're going on to the next level. But it's not that case with some people.
Mm.
They don't have advocates, and the ones that do have advocates are not as great as people think that this situation. How would you feel coming from out the hospital and you have somebody that really doesn't vibe with you? I have had to get rid of one driver because I wasn't vibing with her yelling at me over me having a little schedule change. Just a little schedule. Yeah, I mean, I
Wow.
did say, okay, we're going to go to this store, but right down the street is the next store that had what I needed, and I didn't see it at the other store, and I forgot. I should have called her, but yet and still, it was just down the street on the way home. So it's a lot of bureaucracy with dealing with a lot of the individuals, and some of them just are not into doing their job. So with me, I'm in the process
Mm.
of basically trying to implement a not a holdover, but a fill-in or complete solution. A fill-in that turns into a complete solution for the individuals. That's one less individual that is on their way into the casket early, or they're going back out
Mhm.
into the streets. I have three drivers now because of the one that had cancer in the last spot I was at. She got depressed and tired. She came from out the hospital. She called me, and then I got the word that she went back out. And she went back out on the streets, and she was on drugs prior. So I lost a driver because of this. So I am dedicated to helping our
Wow.
people. I'm not going to stop to the last breath. You know what I'm saying? I'm not I'm not
Mm.
stopping, and God
Yeah.
snatched the breath out of my body to help our people.
I love that. I love that. And we appreciate you for that. Thank you for your service in every way because there's not a lot of people that think like that, that's able to say, you know what, I need and they need. So let's get this together so
Yes.
all of us can eat.
Thank
That's
you.
something I really appreciate. And it also sounds like you're trying to do your you're trying to do your nonprofit where you're going to have
Mhm.
transportation and
Yeah.
housing for people. And there's I know some people that want to start that up. How is the process with starting up your nonprofit been going
Actually,
for
I
you?
can't do anything right now until I move into Virginia Beach area because my business
Okay.
license is there. I have to
Uh-huh.
reboot all my business license. I'm a concert promoter. I was a talent agent prior, but I was basically I switched over to promotions. So I will be doing benefit concerts for to help our people scale up, for to pay for brand new homes, brand new transportation for the young ladies that have 4 to 6 kids. Basically, I may only, because I'm behind schedule because of my health, I may only be able to get one in this year, but I plan on doing three every year. Transportation,
Right.
Terry, is basically electric bicycles for the homeless. I'm going to get into logistics, so we'll have 2 box trucks, and I have a mini fleet of 4 vehicles on my personal side. But when it comes to the
Mhm.
organization, we'll have trucks, box trucks, fill them up. And I know the locations,
Okay.
and my people, they know the locations where the homeless are. So if we can just go to the locations, drop off those bicycles, and be out. When it comes down to the monetaries, we don't know what they need. So the individuals basically will be on the bus lines once a month and giving out $1,000 gift cards for the ones that have a bracelet on from the hospital. They're just getting from the hospital. And some
Oh,
of
that's
them
amazing.
are not able to get
Hmm.
into main shelters. And I was one coming from out the hospital. You cannot go into a setting like
Yeah.
that and you have a bag on your extremities. You know what I'm saying? If it's too medical for them, if you're
Mm.
not too capacitated, it's like if you're capacitated in any
Yeah.
way, too sick, they're not going to let you in the mainstream shelters. Overnight, you got to be on the floor just coming from out the hospital. And it's not a good sanitary
Right.
situation.
That's
So
terrible.
I'm in the process of basically giving them a break for a month or so, and watching over those individuals. If it's only one or two, we just carry them for a month or two in the hotels, making sure that they have gift card from Walmart
Mhm.
to cover their food. Cause I've been out there. I took one guy years ago. He was on the bus line. It was freezing cold. He was shaking. And I said, "You just got out the hospital?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, I'm gonna help you." I was in Virginia Beach and I was living with a young lady, and I took him from Pembroke all the way to Portsmouth to the overnight shelter. I went with him and made sure he knew what was going on, put some money in
Mhm.
his pocket, left him, and he called me and let me know that he was fine. Within a week or so after him getting the nourishment that
Mhm.
he needed, he went and got him a painter's job. Yes. And
Mm.
so, I mean, it just
That's
takes
good.
a little bit. It doesn't take a lot, just a little bit of time. And I
Yeah.
never had to see to him
True.
again.
You
Yes.
lead a horse to the water. That's how you do it. Now, with these people that are receiving help, I'm sure you've had some stories where people have also kind of taken the money and ran, so to
Well,
speak.
basically,
Um,
when it comes down
dealing.
to the
Mhm.
monetaries, we don't give away those cards now. It will be basically at their will whether or
Mhm.
not if they decide not to freeze. You could go to the hotel. In some instances, if it's like a family or something, I may not give them that a lot. If it's like an elderly person, and the Lord lets me know I'm gifted. He speaks
Mhm.
to me who to help, who not to. So if it's a family, I will basically call
Mm.
up and make sure that the reservation is set underneath their name and they can go to the hotel. So it just depends upon the situation at hand. But a lot of the homeless I know, I've been out on the streets on and off since I was a teenager, except for when I was
Yeah.
stable a lot, but I was in my desperate situations. I know every city of homeless people. And so, not saying it's not new homeless
Mhm.
people, but at any point, the Lord directs me. He's been leading and directing me since I was a child. I listen to his voice, and it's always good. The people that I come in contact with always I'm nicknamed Angel because they call me Angel. They say I just finished praying that God send me an angel and I always come. So it's not like just given to someone.
Mm.
No, it's a spiritual thing also.
And what it sounds like is you have people in different places
Mhm.
that God puts in different places. And it sounds like to me, God puts you in a specific position to be able to assist people from a
Mhm.
peer
Yeah.
view of things. So basically, you are a part of the people that you're actually going to ultimately end up getting to where they need to be
Yeah.
at. And that's something I appreciate too. Having the different perspectives. There's always different perspectives and there's always a
Yes.
different side to the story, and yours
Yeah.
is obviously an
Thank
angelic
you.
one.
Thank
We
you.
have
I
to
love
appreciate you for
them.
that.
I mean, my enemies
Yes,
became my friends. They, yes, and
that's good.
so it's like basically they
Amazing.
didn't know me. So you listen to what people had to say, but you need to get to know the
Yeah.
person. And they watched me. They was like, "Wow, you're nothing like what people say." And I said, "Well, you have to get to know the
Wow.
individual for yourself, and then
Right. Right. People always have something to say until they get their
yes,
own
and they
perception
become
of
my
you.
besties,
That's very true.
and so one of them became more than bestie, but other than that, it's like in circumstance and situations, I pray for people and give them space. And I tell people when I walk in the room, don't worry if we have conflict because they're coming back to me saying they sorry. Okay, it's only one
Wow.
person that did not come back to me, and unfortunately, but I have had people
Mhm.
that I was away from, and then I went to another city and ran into one young lady, and she came back to me, and she didn't say she was sorry, but I amended everything, and I helped her and her loved one when she had came to the city. She didn't know anything, and I helped her, and unfortunately she passed. She didn't make it. She was in a hotel and she took too
Mhm.
many aspirin, and I told her you could have a tumor. She didn't know she had a tumor, and in her brain she had a tumor.
Oh
She
my
took too
goodness.
many aspirin, and she died instantly. It burst and she died instantly. But she
She
didn't
didn't even know
know.
she had
She
the
was
tumor
in
on her brain. That
Portsmouth
is
here
crazy.
years ago with her fiance, and she was pregnant, and she went to the hospital, and I told her, I say, if you keep having headaches like this, it could be a stroke, oncoming stroke, or it could be a tumor in your brain. And I told her you cannot take a lot of aspirin.
Mm.
And she did, away from me and her spouse. We wasn't around. And so she just did what she wanted to do, and she passed. She didn't make it to see 30 years old. Yeah.
Oh my
She left
gosh, I'm
him
so
with the
sorry to hear.
baby.
That is
And
terrible.
for a whole year, he was like, Angel, do you
Oh,
know Judy died? This was a year ago. Yes, I know she died. He was that bad off. And they were
wow.
homeless, and I laid down her pallet every night. I made sure she had what she needed, and it was just sad, and it's happening
That's
out here on the
heartbreaking.
streets. And
Yeah.
just imagine you being pregnant, having to lay on the floor, and they won't let you have double cushion. I mean, we tried to get this one pregnant girl. She looked like she was having twins. We all gave one of our mats, and they
Wow.
told the security guard told us we had to take them back. And she had diabetes. They would not
Wow.
allow her in a shelter because she had
Wow.
needles to take her medicine. It's stuff happening out here. And
Wow.
that's the reason why I'm working on trying to do
Yeah.
my projects is not yet. I'm working on trying to do the public right now because of the situation. It's an
Mhm.
emergency situation to me. And so my projects basically is for the medical house is going to be built, and I'm trying to get it where the person had passed away on that lot right there across from Burger King in Norfolk. I'm trying to get that lot. And if I could get that
Oh
lot,
yeah.
I'll be able to build a massive place for individuals coming from out the hospitals, and the seniors. It's mostly for the seniors,
Mhm.
and the sick people. And across the way, I want to do visiting
Yeah.
nurses that would support the project, because the owners have to, if they want to take over the project, and become owners, they have to basically pay into the project. So a percentage of what they take in from the
Mhm.
visiting nurses goes into the project to fund it. So we can
Mhm.
get government help and assistance as far as building it, but after that point on,
Yeah.
we're gonna be good because we'll have 10% from that, and then we'll have some subsidies and stuff like that. But at any point, it'll be a place where they can stay for free. It's not a shelter. They have their own little efficiency apartment, and we'll have vertical farm. We'll have not the shoppies, but we'll have restaurants. And the gate, my gate is going to be up there, and that gate is going to be generating income. When it's placed up there, it's going to cost a lot of money for the gate, and the government pays for that. But basically, it'll
Yeah.
be a lot on that gate. I can't say because it's still a concept, but it's a nice gate. So the
Yeah.
monies that I make, I'll be pouring monies into that venture also. So they can always, if it's nonprofit,
Okay.
individuals that own it, they can always put something on that gate because it'll be advertisements on the gate. So it's different ways that they can draw money online. They can do website to fund so that our seniors will have a place,
Mhm.
because they're pairing them with people and they're ill. Everybody that they don't pair ill with ill. I have been fortunate to get an ill person with me, but it's basically you're paired with someone and then they're going off on you because of your circumstance. So that's why I'm trying to get these homeless hotels. It's
Mm.
individual. You don't have to be laying beside anybody. It's your own little space. And that's what's needed. Yeah. And we're going to have to build those things.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. Exactly. Well, let me ask you this. So out of
Mhm.
all of these endeavors you're working on, what is the greatest challenge that you found yourself up against, internally, externally? What is the greatest challenge that you have found yourself up against
Basically,
with all
what
these
brings me
endeavors?
joy, happiness, and healing is giving. And when I don't have the support that I need, the Lord supplies my every need. And you know His word, according to His riches and glory. So I always ask the Master, and He supplies. But it's for me, and I share what I have. But I need that on a triple scale. I need help from the public now. It's been since I was 10 years
Hmm.
old. I'm 55. You know the numbers. That's 45 years, 40
Hmm.
something years, whatever. Okay, so when it comes down
Hmm.
to it, basically, it's like I need the public to rally and help me. Those business owners, right now, I don't have a
Right.
501c3, but I'm trying to do the monitors to keep them into a hotel, to make sure that they have adequate food in between getting a food stamp, whatever it takes, a bus ticket, a 30-day bus pass so they can go get some, whatever it takes. So right now I don't have.
So it sounds like the challenges basically, I'm sorry, I'm gonna let you finish. I'm just conceptualizing, understanding. So it sounds like the challenge that you are having is having the
Hmm.
backing for the what you're trying to do, what your
Yes.
end goal. You need supporters. And if you guys hear what she's talking about, she needs supporters. If you've heard her story and it resonates with you, please do comment below. Send me a DM. We'll exchange information. This is important that we lift each other up and that we make sure our homeless are treated humanely because everybody's story is different. You don't know why people are where they are. And everybody's story changes. You could be where you are and then not be where you are.
Mhm.
Remember that because that could be you one day. Don't forget that. So if you do have that, if you want to donate or you have questions about what this angel's doing, Miss Stacy, I think that we should talk.
Yes.
Leave a comment. But
This
please
is
do
most
continue.
what I'm really pressed about right now. I'm living in a complex, which is like a duplex house, okay? Like a townhome. Across the street is a whole great big 5 unit.
Right.
The last it's 5 unit property. The individuals that were in there, it was only occupied by one occupancy. When I talked to the owner if he wanted to sell, he told me no. But they came back and told me that he had, like, he's a slumlord. So they're paying full rent for something
Mm,
that needs to be rented probably 1980 sometime. So I mean, he doesn't want to sell though. So it's
oh
like I
wow.
need people that want to own these properties and they can utilize Section 8 in order
Okay.
for it to assist these individuals that do have finances. Because I'm sitting here with one right now and she's in a holdover, and the owner, very nice. Because of her circumstance, he hasn't even charged her right now, but
Yeah.
she's in the process of being, having to pick up on that, or she will be moving instead. But at any point, it's like
Okay.
these owners, it's certain things that they don't know. And that's why I'm trying to team up with the ones that don't know. They want to renovate their properties. They don't know the ins and out. You know what I'm saying? They just obtain the property. They do not know
Oh,
that
okay.
they can
Yeah.
get financial backing. They can go to HUD and get a renovational grant not to pay back unless they sell the property. It's things out there like that. Not saying that the bank saying I'm dealing with the
Mm,
big boys, okay, right now, because I'm not going to be owning the properties.
I see that.
I'm just trying
Okay.
to get these ventures set up, and I'm handing the keys to the owners. That's what I'm in the process of doing
Right.
because I have some backing right now. I'm
Okay.
trying to do a couple of properties. Once I get them settled and situated and they're running, I'm ducking out. Once I get my grants to make sure that it's paid for, there will be no debt.
I understand.
Yes.
Okay. So you're trying to stick and move when it comes
Yes.
to this the goal. I tell you what, Miss Stacy, it was wonderful. I'm sorry,
Okay.
we running at the end of our podcast time, but I do want to
Mhm.
have you on again, and we can get an
Yeah.
update on this story because this is very important. This is very very important what you're doing, and
Thank
I
you.
know people that would like to be a part of it, including myself. I
Yes.
have my own endeavors going on. We can talk about that later. As a matter of fact, we're gonna link up. Do you have an Instagram that you want anybody to know, or do you have a Facebook,
Yes.
or any way
I
people can
have my
reach you if they
phone
have
number.
questions?
You can give to them either after the podcast. The phone number is
I'll do
attached
that.
to my
I'll put
WhatsApp,
it in
and
the
that's
link.
my business spot.
Yeah.
So if they're interested in teaming up and doing any type of properties, any ventures, if they have their own money or not, whatever, they can be an investor, or they can just be a person that comes in and owns once we finish the other projects. I still need to hear from them either
Hmm.
way. And so they can
Right.
connect with me.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to
Mhm.
do that. Okay, so I do appreciate you once again. This is Stacy, the angel from the 757. And like I said,
Mhm.
I'm gonna have you again. I want to hear an update on your story. This is Willpower, the podcast. I hope everyone has a blessed day and check me out. I'm going to be dropping some of these shorts, and this podcast will be dropping Friday. So be on the lookout for the next podcast next Friday. I want to send peace, love, and blessings.
Peace.
We out.